Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your home for gaming, tech, news, and reviews. In today's video, we are modding some controllers. Let's get started. There are a bunch of things you can do to mod your controllers, from the shells to adding LEDs to even adding extra buttons. Everything I'm going to show you today was provided from eXtremeRate. They sent me a bunch of stuff to check out. The first controller I'm modding is the DualShock 4. eXtremeRate sent me 3 different boxes. The first box here contains the controller shell. The second box here contains the Remap Kit, where you can add 4 new buttons to the back of the DualShock 4. And lastly, the LED kit to make all of the buttons light up. Opening up the controller shell box, the first thing I can see is the controller shell. Underneath the controller shell is a PS4 touchpad cover, buttons, as well as screws and a screwdriver. eXtremeRate includes everything I need here. The controller shell is made from a soft touch plastic, so it's got a bit of a velvety feel. It feels really nice. The word Superstation is painted right onto the touchpad cover, it's not a sticker. Oddly enough, there are 8 face buttons included when you only really need 4. I'm guessing so you can either go with the SNES, lavender and purple, go with all lavender, or go with all purple, whatever you choose to do. The DualShock 4 is held together by 4 Phillips screws, so you can either use your own screwdriver or use the handy little screwdriver that's included. Once the screws are removed, pinch and pull up on the face of the DualShock 4. It should release the plastic clips. If you're having trouble disassembling your DualShock 4, I will leave a link in the description below that will show you how to tear down step by step, including pictures. The hardest part was actually getting this little chip out. It's glued to the inside of the touchpad. Luckily, eXtremeRate does include this metal little guitar pick that helps you get the job done. Moving everything over into the new controller shell was actually pretty straightforward. I didn't really encounter any issues, except for one minor issue, and it was my own fault. I'll see if you've noticed it yet. If not, I'll continue on talking here. Everything lined up just nice. I didn't have to make any modifications to anything at all. Everything was perfect except for my button placement. I screwed up where I placed the lavender and purple buttons, so I have to open up the controller again, replace the purple on the top left with the lavender on the bottom right, and then everything should be good to go. Alright, so I fixed the button placement, screwed everything back together, and we're good to go. I did notice some minor gaps here in the shell. So the shell doesn't necessarily fit perfectly. It's not seamless. You can see the seams here. When I press down on them, they do close. It's not a completely perfect fit, but it's pretty darn close. Now, stress testing the quality of the shell, it's not bending or flexing whatsoever. It does feel very solid, so that's a huge plus. Now, taking a look at the contents for the LED kit, it looks like eXtremeRate includes everything you need in each kit they have. There is no scrounging for parts because everything here looks like it's included. There's even a pretty detailed instruction manual. The LED kit is a little part that fits on top of your PCB for your controller, so there is no soldering at all. It's actually really easy to install. There was one minor problem I ran into. The LEDs that illuminate the joystick are held on by a sticker. So it's a circle bit here that goes onto a square part, the top of the housing for your joystick. The issue that I ran into was if it's not aligned absolutely perfectly, there will be some rubbing. The control stick will rub on this little LCD board here and cause possibly a bit of friction or rip it up from the joystick altogether. And since I wasn't really a fan of this mounting option or how it looked or felt, I decided not to use this on my DualShock 4. Now, taking a quick peek at the PS4 Remap Kit, where you can add 4 extra buttons to the back of the DualShock 4. Inside the box, just like all the others, everything is included. Now, looking at the instruction manual here, to take full advantage of the Remap Kit, you will have to do some minor soldering, unless you don't want to be able to remap your touchpad L3 and R3 buttons. For the purposes of this video, I'm not going to do this because I wanted something that was simple and easy and just a cosmetic upgrade. But if you're up for some minor soldering, then check out the Remap Kit. Next up, we have the Xbox One S controller. For this, I have a new shell as well as some LED buttons. Hopefully the LED situation isn't the exact same as the DualShock 4, but we will see. Just like in all of their other boxes, eXtremeRate includes everything you need. For this video, I don't really want to replace all of the buttons. I just want to do the D-pad and the joysticks as well as the faceplate. The faceplate here is a transparent blue with the soft touch feel. It feels the exact same as the DualShock 4 skin, which actually feels really nice. I like the overall finish on this. Disassembly of the Xbox One controller is incredibly more difficult than the DualShock 4. There's a screw hidden behind this label here, as well as screws hidden underneath the two ends on the controller. On top of that, they use a Torx screw. I don't know why they use Torx. I wish it was a Phillips, but lo and behold, they use a Torx screw. So fortunately here, eXtremeRate includes the proper screwdrivers to make everything easy. They also include a spudger to help separate the back of the controller. The Xbox One S controller is not an easy controller at all to separate. Now, taking a look at the LED kit for the Xbox controller, and it's looking like they're using the exact same circle sticker to hold on the LEDs that go over the joystick. So unfortunately, I won't be using this for the Xbox controller either, considering I didn't like how they fit on the DualShock 4. Now, comparing the original joystick on the right with the replacement joystick on the left, and eXtremeRate did a really good job replicating the official Xbox joystick. When comparing the new and replacement D-pad, the original on the left, the new one on the right, I did notice a minor difference. On the surface, they feel the exact same, but underneath, the eXtremeRate's D-pad is pointed on the joint that pivots, whereas the Xbox's is a little bit more rounded. I did notice a very slight difference when using this on the controller. I said I didn't want to have to do any soldering, but I ended up having to solder anyways. I accidentally ripped out one of the wires on my Xbox controller. They're very fragile in there, so I did have to solder it back into place. The new faceplate fit very well into place with no issues whatsoever. Everything aligned very nicely. So here's what the controller looks like with my simple mods completed. Everything came together really nicely. The joysticks here feel almost as good as the stock Xbox joysticks. They did a good job. On the D-pad though, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I am very particular when it comes to D-pads. The shell fits together very nicely with very few gaps. So here's the before and after for each controller. On the left-hand side is the before, and then on the right-hand side is the after. I'm a very big fan of the look of the DualShock 4. Now, in terms of pricing, eXtremeRate has a ton of different options. For the DualShock 4, if you just want to replace the front, it'll cost you $7.65. For the full kit like I had, it'll run you $11.65. For the LED kits, they range from $18.90 to $21.90, depending on the kit. For the button remap kit, it will run you $22.95. For the Xbox faceplates, they start at about $5.58 and work their way up from there. The LED kits are about $16.50 or $18 depending on the kit, and the button remap kit for the Xbox controller is $27.50. I also found some of their stuff listed on Amazon, and it looks like it's a little bit more expensive, but at the same time, if you have Amazon Prime, I don't think you have to pay for shipping. Now, in terms of replacement shells and replacement buttons for controllers, I have seen quality all over the place from a bunch of different manufacturers. eXtremeRate here, I would say, is slightly above average. They're not too bad at all. In terms of how it compares to a stock controller, I would say it's not as good as stock, but it's still pretty good. I would say quality might vary based on what you get, considering there are some gaps on this controller shell here for the DualShock 4, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but the overall look and the overall feel I actually really like. With the Xbox controller, the shell actually fits really, really nicely, but I don't like the feel of the D-pad. And in terms of the LED kits, I wouldn't overly recommend them based on how the LED mounts to the joystick. I did not like that at all, but at the same time, you could probably use some super glue or something like that to really stick it down there. And if you're into soldering, you could always just check out the Remap Kit. Anyways, that is all I've got for today. Let me know which of these mods was your favorite in the comments below. My favorite was that DualShock 4 mod. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Thank you, everyone. Take care.